We tried to separate the functions and said every function has its own architecture and every function has its own building. And so we tried to separate the university, if you like, in 4 personalities and tried to give to every one of these buildings a separate expression. We used the 4 basic building materials like concrete, wood, steel and ceramics in order to have the synergetic effect. Like 4 different people, everyone has got his proper personality, but together the 4 personalities, they can produce a public space. The public space cannot be produced by only one of them. This new university has been the chance to offer urbanity for the whole area. We wanted to create a kind of city center. So now we have this public piazza with the supermarket and the coffee and the restaurant and all sort of this. And this is being used by everyone. I quite liked it. We already offered this in the competition. You can do all kind of events, all kind of shows, all kind of happenings of sports events, speeches, festivities, parties, whatever. In the public piazza, that the use must be done by the users, not by the architect. The architect must provide the most flexible possibility to do whatever the people invent. I cannot influence this, but I can facilitate it. I can give the opportunity to it. All the facades are being cooled by shading, by sun shading. 2 of them are flexible and 2 of them are stable. So this is the functional need for a facade. I would hate to do a facade which is only beautiful but does not fulfill the functional necessary needs in order to lower the energy level of the building. The task of the architect is to control his ideas and to do what is useful for the function and for the use of this building. We try to produce spaces which could remind on living rooms. This may be special in the library where the students stay many hours there. They don't feel like an ugly functional room, but they feel like home. And they don't, and actually I quite like, they don't like to leave at night. It's nice to stay there, there's a nice atmosphere. The same is in the lecture room, that you go beyond aesthetics and see what is the function of a lecture room. The students have to be attentive and the teacher wants to be listened to, so this works. And if the teacher, the professor says, yes, in this room I like to speak because the students are attentive, this is very important as a philosophy from the beginning, before you start designing. Everybody said, oh my God, concrete is so cold, can you not make wood, you know? So this takes a long arguments in order to realize this. Now they realize they're proud of it and this adds to the identity. In this case, the budget was calculated already with rationality, which means we don't have to produce the cheapest building in Europe. We want a decent quality and we want that it is durable, that it is sustainable, that it is functional, okay, and so they know that this costs also money and not that you have a unrealistic budget and then you have problems, you know. Possibility of an architect to convince the client of something is not a very easy job. Of course, I like it when today the client is totally proud of the building and has totally forgotten about these discussions a few years ago, you know. At the end, I think it's important, is this building fulfilling his task? Are the people happy? Is the user, are the students happy to study here? Do they like it here? Do they like to come to the university? Or do they hate and say, my God, I have to go again to this awful university? Or they say, oh, you know, let's go earlier because we can have a coffee there, or we can talk about this and that. So this is, of course, the task that we have to fulfill. We are servants in that case. We have to serve the needs, and we are happy if this is being used in a good way. So this is really satisfactory.